Hey guys, welcome back, and today we are going to go over the service pricing calculator tool. So I have two versions of this, and this calculator I designed to make it really simple and easy for service providers to find out exactly how much net profit they make off of each individual service. I have a version really more or less intended for independent stylists or people who are not trying to understand the commission distribution. And then if you are like a smaller salon or you are a commission salon, you can use the commission based version of this to understand the distribution after you input your different commission levels. I'll have both versions linked below if you want to download those. And if you have any problems or need me to make any adjustments for you, I'm happy to do that. To start our review, both of these versions are going to have three categories. So one place for you to put in your operating expenses, so your monthly and annual expenses that your business incurs. This is anything that has nothing to do with the service. So your rent, salaries, insurance fees, subscriptions, phone bill, booking software, things like that. And then we'll have the second section, and that is for your cost of goods. That is your basically the products and that you would use for services. And there's two types. We've got our single use supplies, so anything that's going to go in the trash when we're done and can only be used one time. And then our chemical back bar, our actual products used in the service that we may have some left over at the end of the day. For the hairstylist, that's your enlightener, shampoos, conditioners, developers, styling products, hairsprays, treatments. If you're like a nail tech, that's going to be your monomer, your polymer. I had one tattoo artist buy this, so she asked me to expand her single-use supplies because she has a lot of those. If you are in that same boat and you need like a lot more single-use supplies, I'm happy to do that too. The cool thing about this section is that it's going to automatically break down for you how much that costs you per service here, and we'll walk through that in just a second. And then what makes this a really powerful tool is once you have your annual expenses and your supplies in, you'll put your schedule in. It's going to tell you how much it costs you to be open per minute, which is extremely cool because it takes all the hard guesswork math out of it. And that's important because that's how we understand how much it costs us to provide that service. And then this box is great because it allows you to add up what you need for a specific service. Then it will tell you the total cost of service. So you can input that here. We'll put in our service list, and then we'll be able to see how much money we're actually making off each service. So our net profit and how much our margin would be on that service. And then if you are a commission salon, at the end, I'll put a pretend commission structure in here so you could see what that distribution might look like at different rates. If you're actually making money on these services or not, and how much actually goes to your salon or how much actually goes to in your pocket at the end of the day when all these things are actually taken out and accounted for. And this can be really enlightening if you haven't done it before. I've got some fake expenses in. So our total expenses are $5,102.58. We've got our annual expenses. I put in some products for color services and haircut services. When you are putting in your products into the product section, you're going to go to the website that you usually buy your products from. You're going to use those as your baseline. So I went to Salon Centric website, for instance, logged into my account and looked up these items. Some of them are on sale. It's going to be really important that you do not use the sale price. You want to make sure you're using the price that they normally are. When we're thinking about how much it costs us in products for each service, we want to make sure that we're thinking about the true cost. Like if these were on sale for $10.99, I'm still going to put $19.99 in the box here because that's how much they cost on a regular average day. And in the Reynolds full box, they typically come in 500, or I put 1,000 in there because I'm going to cut them in half. I'll get double. And I averaged myself at 50 foils a service, so that's where 50 came in here for single use supplies. Once I put these numbers in, it's going to tell me how much it costs me to use 50 foils in one service, which is $1. Chemical and back bar products, you are going to list them in here per how many ounces there are. And if you are a grams person like me, I typically do everything in grams. I've got little cheat codes here, but you can always just literally plug that right into Google and it'll tell you. Or you can use mine as a reference. For example, I like this Pravana lightener. So 16 ounces come in it. That cost me $31.16. I typically use 70 grams. I allot myself per lightener service because I'm an overpourer. I just am. I don't like to remix. 70 grams is roughly 2.5 ounces. I put 2.5 ounces for myself. So using 70 grams of enlightener per service is it shows me here, it's gonna cost me $4.87 a service. You're gonna put in your developers. You can do this however you like, whatever makes sense to you. I did it like this. I've got 20 volume. I'll typically use 1-to-2 ratio roughly for enlightener services. And then if I'm doing a color service or a gloss service, I'm going to use 1-to-1. Typically, you're going to put that in. It's going to tell you exactly how much per service. Then we'll go over here, and this is where the magic happens. We're going to put in our schedule. So we work, let's just say we work 30 hours a week. And how much is product tax in our state? So I'm going to put 7. And this is going to now tell me that I put my schedule in. What is my operating cost per minute? So it added up all my expenses once I listed them in there because I work 30 hours a week. It's broken that down for me by minute. So every minute that I'm working in the week costs me $71 to be open. And this is important when we come back down to our services. Now we can start putting in our menu and adding up product costs for each thing. So let's use 3 examples here. Let's say we have a haircut. We'll do a base color touch-up. We'll do a full foil. And just for the heck of it, we'll say we do toner as a separate service. So how long does it take us to do these services? And now it's kind of cool because you're going to start seeing these things populate here. We're only entering things in the white boxes, so all this is going to populate automatically over here for us. You don't need to touch it or do anything to it. Haircut, 60 minutes. Base touch-up, 90 minutes. Full foil, 120 minutes. And let's say a toner, 20 minutes. Menu price, our haircut, we charge $80. Base touch, $90. Full foil, we charge $210. And toner, we charge $18. Now we've got some things populating, but we still don't really have the full picture because we need to understand what products we're using and how much it costs. For a haircut, what do we need for that? So all these are unchecked. As we check them, it's going to start adding up that cost for us. We don't really have a whole lot of product used for a haircut, but we do have some. We have for sure shampoo and condition because we're going to shampoo that client when we are going to condition that client. We may have some styling products, like if you're going to use a hairspray for sure every time, you could add that in. But right now, we only have a shampoo and conditioner for this haircut. We are going to include that. It cost us $1.61 in product costs for that service. So we clicked those down there and it tallied them up here. So not a whole lot for a haircut going on. So we're going to add that in. Now let's do a base touch-up. We're going to go ahead and leave the shampoo and the conditioner checked on this because we're going to most likely shampoo and condition our color clients. And now we'll go in and we'll do color. So we're going to use some permanent color, a 1-to-1 ratio in that color, foils, gloves. So doing one color service with a 40-gram bowl is going to cost us $9.43 to do that base touch-up. So for full foil, we're still going to leave our shampoo and conditioner. I'm not going to be using permanent color anymore. We are going to use lightener. It's our 1-to-2 ratio for that. Gloves, we'll leave them in there. You may not need gloves technically, I don't think you do, but we'll add them in there just for the sake of doing it. Do foils. So it's going to cost us $9.50 to do the color service in this case. And now we'll do our toner. We won't need any of that for a toner, so we're going to uncheck that. We are going to shampoo and condition our tone client. We're going to use some Shades EQ, use a 1-to-1 ratio of the processing solution. So it's going to cost us $10.09 to do our toner. And I think that's a little on the higher side because I put 2 ounces. You may use 2 ounces, you may not. It just depends on what you're doing. But that's a realistic cost. This is why doing this little exercise is really important for your business. It can make a very big difference. Now there's only one more thing. If you have a credit card fee that's coming out of your paycheck, you're going to want to put it in here. There's still, for some reason, a lot of service providers that still pay this for their clients. So we'll just put that in here and make it more realistic. First, before we put commission in, let's just take a look at these and see what's kind of happening down here. Now we can start seeing over here our margin. A margin is just a percentage of how much you keep. So a good margin, I would say, is going to be between 30 and 60. Like, it just really depends. The higher the margin, the better. So that's what you want to be thinking about when you're looking at this margin number. This can be as much as 100%. It can actually be more than that. I mean, it really just depends on what kind of service you're doing. The higher, the better. And of course, this one here, in this example, this negative margin, that's a problem. That is something that we definitely need to take a look at. And then if we look at the visual below, we can start to actually see that. So down here, you can look at the margin there, or you can look at it here. So this green is going to represent our net profit on the service. For a haircut, we're taking home $33. The operating cost is the red and the cost of goods, so your product is the gold. So for a haircut, even though you don't have a lot of product, you are still using time, and it costs us 71 cents a minute. So to do a haircut, it takes us an hour, so we can see that time reflected here is the red. So the gold is we're not using a lot of product, that's why it's barely visible. So if we want to, in theory, make the profit go up on our haircut, what we would look at is the product cost is already very minimal. That gold's barely there because we're only shampooing and conditioning. So we could still increase this profit without changing the price by taking less time. something to think about when you're looking at haircuts or things with minimal product being used. Let's give an example of that. So if we were to go in and we didn't want to change the price of the haircut because we feel like 80 is already, where we want to keep that, we would then go in and say, all right, I'm going to now try to do this haircut in 45 minutes. So let's see how much money that saves us. Okay, so that actually saved us like $10. So now instead of taking home $33 for the haircut, we're taking home $44. So that's the difference it can make by reducing your time, being more efficient at your service. Can literally, it just made us $10 more by saving 15 minutes. And that's without raising the price. We made more money on that service without raising the price. So cool example. So this base colored touch up, we are only profiting $14 on this service. I don't like that. Let's see what we can do about it. So our product surprisingly is fairly minimal. And let's see what we could do about our timing, that red. So it takes us 90 minutes to do a base touch up. That is pretty much where it's going to need to be, right, Yuri? 30 minutes to apply that color. It needs to process for 30 minutes. And then we have to wash it out and do a blow dry and style possibly. So in theory, using the same color products that we have, we really need to raise the price on this particular item to get more out of it. Or we could reduce some operating expenses. Let's change the price to $110 and just see what happens. So now we're making $33. So we went from making 14 to pretty much double. But this is what I mean about it being really enlightening. It's interesting to see how much money are you really taking home, even though it only cost me $9 in product for my base color, but clearly there's more going on here than that. Clearly your operating costs are so high, you're not making barely any money on this service. And that's what makes this tool so powerful. So the full foil is obviously our moneymaker in this particular scenario. We're using minimal product on this. What's really eating our profit on this one is our operating cost, our expenses. So if we didn't have a guest service representative and we took our own calls, we could really watch that red go down. Again, it's just our timing. So we could potentially get faster on our foiling, but realistically, I think what do we have this at? We had this at 120? Yeah, 120 minutes. So for a full foil, that's fair enough. So I think the price is okay on it. So in this case, we're making $109. That's not terrible. Our toner is definitely a problem. You can see this green is below the $0 line, which means we are in the negative profit there. In this case, we could maybe put that at 15 minutes. Probably makes more sense anyway. So let's do 15 minutes for that. Let's make the price $20. We're still in the negative though. So let's do $30, 15 minutes, $30. Now we're making some profit on that. So that's good. So if we were charging $18 on toners, every time we do a toner, we're losing money. So we changed this to 15 minutes and updated the price to $30 for the toner. Now we are making profit on it, which is important. And if you wanted to do a toner and you didn't want to raise the price, you could always look at changing your products, but you want to make sure that you're in the green on any service that you're offering. If you are not in the green, that is not a service that's making you money. It's costing you money. And that's not something we ever want. Let's go through and let's say if we have a guest service representative, let's see if we can get this operating cost down a little bit. Most of our expenses are not things that we can manipulate. They're pretty firm. For instance, like our rent, it is what it is. Our salaries and wages, so we're budgeting ourselves $2,000 for someone to help us at the front desk. Let's cut that down dramatically. Let's cut it in half, $1,000. So we pay our guest service representative $1,000 a month for support. Now our profits just went up because we're spending less on the operational side. So our haircut, now we make $50 off of it. We make $46 off of our base touch-up now. Make $126 off of our full foil, and then we make $10 off our toner. You can see how manipulating a couple of these things in here can really affect your price in the long run. Now let's think about it from a commission salon standpoint and put in some commission structure. So here in this commission box, we are going to put a 60-40 split. Let's see how much using those same prices, how much the salon would receive and how much the stylist would receive. So for the haircut, the total profit from that was $50.35. The salon is going to keep $30.21 of that, and the provider is going to keep $20.14 of that. So for every base touch-up they do, the total profit is $45.99. The salon's going to keep $27.59 of that. The provider is going to keep $80.40 of that. The full foil is $125.82 total profit. Salon's keeping $75.49. The stylist is keeping $50.33. Toner total profit's $10.46. Salon keeps $6.28, and the provider keeps $4.19. That, in summary, is how you would use this tool. So, like I said, it can be super enlightening to put your information in here because a lot of times it's not what you think. This tool is so easy to do, and that's why I made it like this. So it's It's foolproof, and you can really go in there and understand what you are doing, how much money you are making. There's money to be made, and there's different ways you can like change how much money you're making, but you can't do that if you don't know what it is that you're trying to change. If you need a modified version of this, or if you need support with this, I'm always more than happy to help. I made this to help you guys. So that basically sums all this up. So thank you for watching. If you want to download it, you can find it down in the link below. And if you have any questions, please reach out to me. I'm always here to help and support in any way. Enjoy the rest of your day.